Welcome into the CHGO White Sox Podcast, coming to you live from Studio A of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. It's your CHGO White Sox crew. I'm Sean Anderson. That's Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer. Go Tigers. And the man in the middle is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him at Ecknerwall23. And the first thing that I think Herb wants to talk about, or at least the way that you pitched it to me, is what Vinnie wrote about. So go check out Vinny's new article at allchgo.com. But you're right about maybe some optimism brewing on 35th and Shields.
Well, hey, I'm not saying that any fans are or should be feeling it necessarily after the way the last couple of years have gone. But if you want to talk to the people in the building, you know, they're excited for this new group of front office guys. Chris Getz bringing in Josh Barfield, bringing in Brian Bannister, bringing in Gene Watson. I go through all the comments that all those guys had to give to us just last week. But I think the big takeaway, and I know I've said it on the show here before, is, listen, if you were unhappy because Chris Getz was, in your opinion, more of the same, right? 7 years under Rick Hahn and Kenny Williams. Jerry Reinsdorf didn't look outside the building for a new GM. If that's something that made you frustrated, you did get some of that. You did get some of that outside, that newness in the guys that he has brought in, the three guys that I just mentioned. So, again, let them win you over. Don't just go by what everybody else has to say. But whether it's those guys themselves, the group in the front office, or Pedro, who I talked to obviously last weekend, a lot of excitement over what those guys can do. Again, part of that being the new ideas and the different perspectives.
Yeah, and I was talking to Sean about last night. I was doing the Bears watch along with Cody and Matt Peck, and I was like, the Bears were doing that thing where they're giving up the lead again, and so everybody's going back to Denver game and like, oh, here we go again. And I kind of got a thing. I was like, no, why go through the dread of thinking that we're gonna lose and then we lose? So you went through all that dread, and then it happens. How about you go through this season or the Bears game thinking that they're going to win, and if they lose, hell, then they lost. Who cares? But have the positive mindset that, hey, things are going to work out for my favorite team, instead of going into it like, oh, man, here we go again. The same old's happening with the White Sox or the Bears or et cetera, what filling your team there. And so I said, you know what? I am usually negative on the White Sox for good reason, but this year in this offseason with Chris Getz and the assembled people he has brought in, I'm going to be a little bit more upbeat and positive and hope that they do well, with the thing in the back of my mind knowing that it's probably more than likely, with all the history that's gone on with 100-loss teams, not going to work out well. But I'm going to go into the offseason thinking that they're going to get the job done and they're going to have a better team in 2024 than they had in 2023. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be division champs or even competing for the World Series, but better. A building block, a stepping stone, and not have that negative dread all off season leading into a negative full season, and then we're just back in the same cycle. I'm going to put a positivity, even though I don't know even if that works necessarily, but I'm going to put that out there to manifest it and hope it does work.
If they're not going to use retool or rebuild, or even the one that I like, revamp, right? It's a revamping. I'm also not going to use the O word. I'm just going to wait. I'm not going to be optimistic. I'm not going to be pessimistic. Hey, I'll probably be a little bitter. But I don't think that they haven't done anything. I mean, Brian Bannister and Josh Barfield have talked to you. That's about it. I mean, we haven't seen any players. We haven't seen what their actual touch is going to be on this organization. And I am excited for Bannister. I am excited for Barfield. I would have probably been excited if either of those guys were the actual GM. I think they're two very good hires. It's just the way that the owner went about it should not have been the way that any owner goes about it. And if he lucks into this, good for him and his organization. But as a fan, there's no way that you can just, I feel, approve the way that Jerry just, hired Chris Getz. I would have liked a little bit more of a figuring out process, but hey, that's what we got. I do think that there's an easy comp, though, to Luis Robert Jr. and Justin Fields. It's easy to see just talent when you see it. And,
oh, yeah.
I mean, Fields is extremely talented and Robert's extremely talented. So there's at least, something to be hopeful about. I mean, it's not Luis Robert Jr. and Justin Fields' fault. They play for those teams.
Exactly.
Right? They're just trying to play ball. So let's root for them. We're going to get into some MVP talk. And shout out to Connor for putting in notable bad AL MVPs. Shohei Ohtani, pretty good. We're going to talk about him in a second. But, hey, there's also some bad of the MVPs as well. I mean, there's got to be the worst MVP of all time. Connor's throwing out Dennis Eckersley in 1992. Is that right?
Yeah.
Eck won it in 92?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
He was just dominant closer, and I don't think there was a dominant hitter near dominant starter.
I knew he was a Cy Young, but I didn't know he was MVP. And I also thought at that point Eck would have been, retired.
No.
80 innings pitched, 2.9 WAR.
Eck might have pitched into the late 90s.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think
Really?
Yeah. Or even early 2000s. He was around forever.
Jeff Burrows, 1974, had a 301 batting average, 167 hits, and a 3.6 F4, which is about two WAR less than Luis Robert this year. And then Justin Morneau in 2006, 140 OPS plus. Let's go into.
He's throwing out Eckersley 92, 2.9 WAR. Let's see who actually led the league in WAR in 1992. That would be Greg Maddux at 9.4.
In the AL?
Well, but he wasn't in the American League.
Yeah.
Roger Clemens, 8.7. Mike Mussina was also over 8. Position player, Frank Thomas at 7.
I was going to say, I thought Frank was probably pretty solid.
Give him 3 in a row. Why not?
And then he went on a run.
Was
That's
Eck
pretty good.
in Oakland or Boston? Where was Eck?
92?
I think he was in Oakland.
I thought
They would have been at least.
Did you not just have it
competitive.
there?
I think you just had the list of people.
Oh, I thought you would have had it in your.
Oh, no, that was just leaders of WAR.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah.
92 was Oakland. It was 37. Pitched until 98 with Boston. I mean, I even saw a discussion, too, though, in 93 that people were like, John Olerud should have won the MVP.
Calm down, people.
No,
Over
seriously.
Frank?
Yeah, over Frank.
Oh, look at Frank's numbers. They're insane.
And then go look at what he did in 1994. He basically did it in 40 less games.
Yeah.
But
He just
Olerud
put
had
the
to wear a
same
helmet
season.
on the field, so
That's true. Notable.
He did.
Why?
because he didn't want to get
Prevent
his.
head injury.
Yeah.
That was it?
He had a surgery or something with his brain surgery or something like that.
He had reason to have done it.
Yeah, no,
he
I
wasn't
know.
just scared. I
There's
don't
a
think.
Ricky, there's a Ricky Henderson thing where he's talking to John Olerud. He's like, "Oh man, I used to play with a guy with a helmet on. It was John Olerud."
Thanks, Ricky. It's me. All right, let's get into the MVP discussion, though, because I don't think Ohtani's going to fall into Connor's list of bad players. When you bring up Justin Morneau's 140 OPS plus, how does a weighted runs created plus of 180 sound? Because that's what Shohei Ohtani's weighted runs created plus was. Led the league in home runs, led the league in on-base percentage, led the league in slugging percentage, and if you lead the league in on-base and slugging, you probably lead in on-base plus slugging. So he put up a 6.6 F4 season by just batting. And you look back to his 2021 unanimous AL MVP season, he basically pitched the same amount of innings, had the same ERA, 3.18 to 3.14, struck out the same amount of guys. He was just as dominant on the mound. This is your 2023 AL MVP, right?
Yes, and I think even if he didn't pitch, he would be the MVP just from his hitting stats alone, even though he missed a good portion at the end. Yeah, it's just so weird to have this great of a player during the time that we're still alive. Like, I thought when Mike Trout made himself prominent and was the unquestioned best player in the baseball, and everybody was saying maybe he's going to be the best player ever, I was like, man, we're so lucky to be here in this time to watch Mike Trout. But we got another person on his team that's better than him. Better, much better. Because he pitches, and it's just an honor to be at the same time that this man is out here. I wish our teams would be very advantageous to go and get this player, because even if he's just a hitter next year because of the Tommy John he's going to have, I think he's going to be a dominant hitter still. We know he can do damage with the bat. He's already had the surgery. I think he's going to, Bryce Harper did that last year where he missed the first 2 months of the season after the World Series. And it looks like Bryce Harper's Bryce Harper still. And I think Shohei Ohtani's a better player than Bryce Harper. So I'm expecting a huge season and a huge contract. Maybe Ohtani does one of those things where he signs for 1 year, gets his big money, and then reestablishes his value for the next year where he's pitcher/hitter and gets all his money that he needs. So, yeah, it's unquestioned that he's number one, should be unanimous. If a person is voting for AL MVP and they don't put Shohei Ohtani as the number one, take their vote away from him, please. They don't know baseball.
Wow.
Immediately.
I think it's a good declaration.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right though. Who's not
Yeah.
looking at this season and going, that's worthy of the AL MVP. I think back, one of the best moments of this baseball season. Obviously, we have basically an entire playoffs ahead of us, so this could be surpassed. But isn't the best moment of this baseball season so far Shohei Ohtani striking out Mike Trout in the World Baseball Classic?
So great.
I mean, does it count though? Because it's not regular.
I mean, you shouldn't be using it for any MVP calculations. But my point just being is like, this is the year of Ohtani, just like every year is. But this is even more so because we got that great moment. Listen, we can't comprehend what it's like to watch this. You say, oh, we're so lucky to get to see him. And, you kind of, I'm not sure if this is what you meant, but you talk about it like, oh, man, this must be what it was like to be alive in the 90s and watch Michael Jordan, or this must be what it was like to be alive in the 30s and watch Babe Ruth. Yeah. No, it's not. This is the first time this has ever happened. This is like nothing that has ever happened in sports before. You're watching the best hitter in baseball be one of the best pitchers in baseball at the same time. It's just unreal. You listed all those stats off. He didn't play the last month of the season.
No.
He led in all those categories without playing the last month of the season. This is a no-brainer. He's the MVP. He probably should be the MVP every year because he's doing something no one has ever done before. It's Ohtani's world, and we should be. Not only are we lucky to be living now and watching this, it should be front page news every time he does anything. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I mean, there's no comparison to whatever must-see TV you think of in the NFL, whether that's Patrick Mahomes or whatever. There's no comparison to what's going on in the NBA, whether that's Giannis right now is the best player in the NBA. Probably I'm showing my knowledge of the NBA by probably mispronouncing his name.
Soft G.
But yeah.
Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis. Yeah, sorry, Giannis.
Giannis Gomes.
Giannis Gomes. That's a good tool for me. But yeah, there's just no comparison. I mean, you can say, man, I'm a football fan. I want to tune in every day to watch Patrick Mahomes. You are not getting what baseball fans get when they tune in to watch Shohei Ohtani. It's unbelievable. It's out of this world.
Absolutely. And I can't even think of like a two-way player. I mean, like Red Grange.
No.
Like, I mean, even
prime
when,
time, bro.
I mean,
I guess prime
but
time.
he very seldomly did it. Like, he played a couple snaps on offense, Deion Sanders, when he was with the Dallas Cowboys. His current player, Travis Hunter, has been out for a while, is doing kind of like that, but he's doing it at the college level, and he's been out for a while. Even if he does that all the time, that's still not as impressive as what Shohei Ohtani is doing, because it's much harder to first hit a baseball and then pitch a baseball than it is to play wide receiver and or cornerback.
And he's not just doing it.
Yeah.
He's the best at it.
Well, and the thing, too, is, like, again, like, when Red Grange was doing it, there was, like, 8 teams. Like, there are 30 teams. There are 26 roster spots on all of those teams.
And the entire world to choose players from. It's not, the birth of any of these sports. You were picking from guys who were within a train ride away. And now you've got the entire world, and Shohei is from Japan, and just goes to show you that when the game, or any game, gets global, you're getting better and better talent. This is the pinnacle of baseball talent right here.
And
anybody should know that Shohei is the MVP. It's us White Sox fans. Man hit 7 home runs versus the team in, 7 games? And he just dominated the team. It's like, can we stop pitching to him, please? I mean, he's shown that he can hit the ball. We don't need him to prove himself. Have somebody else on the team beat him.
yeah, and hey, Connor makes a great point. You bring up great moments in this season, him striking out Trout in the World Baseball Classic. Shohei also pitched a shutout against the Tigers, hit 2 bombs, pitched a shutout, and hit a home run in Game 1, and then in Game 2, I think, led off that game with another home run in a doubleheader. So on the same day, 2 home runs and a shutout. So I mean, he's just on next level, truly. Where I want to ask and take this to next before we get into Cy Young, where will Robert finish? I think it'll be top 10. So If we go down F4, Ohtani 6.6, Semien 6.3, Seager 6.1, J-Rod 5.9, Bobby Witt 5.7, J Ram 5.1, Adley 5.1, Luis Robert 5, Kyle Tucker 4.9, JP Crawford 4.9, and then those are all the guys around 5. So I mean, where do you think he lands? Does a pitcher even sneak in here? I guess Ohtani does, but he's number 1. He already has the award.
Yeah, I think he will be top 7. Like, top 5 is going to be tough because those 2 Texas guys are probably going to be there because they're in the playoffs, and so they're going to definitely be represented there. And whatever you say about Rodriguez, he's probably going to be ahead of Robert too, because not only is a better WAR, I think he plays the same position. I think people nationally think of him as a better player than Luis Robert Jr. And that might be just a result of the teams you play for, because Seattle was playing meaningful games at the end of the year while the White Sox hadn't played a meaningful game in months. Even though Luis Robert was still performing, it still means that the national media, who were the people who were voting for this, saw J-Ram or J-Rod in more of a spot where, hey, that's MVP stuff. And when he saw Robert, it was a single highlight of a White Sox loss. So I think he'll still be top 7, but not top 5 where I would put him, because I think he carried a bad team and played well with stats on a bad team, which I think is even more impressive because, like I said, make somebody else beat you, and the White Sox had no one else on the team in the offense that was good. So a pitch around of Luis Robert could have happened all the time, and he still performed and hit balls really hard when they did pitch it to him. And when he caught the ball and when he was playing defense, superb. I think he might finish second in that too, because, again, J-Rod is more of a national name.
I mean, I think top 10 is probably pretty likely. I think top 7 makes a lot of sense. I think he's a guy who put up fantastic numbers in certain categories, not so fantastic in others, but he stole 20 bases, and he played phenomenal defense. And I think it's up to the voters how they determine value. Everybody's got a different set of parameters for what they look at. But if you're someone who values an all-around game, Luis Robert played that all-around game in just tremendous defenses I've been kind of beating the drum for about all year. And then the 20 stolen bases can't be ignored. Now, granted, a lot of guys in that conversation that you listed this year were very good base stealers this season. But, for Robert to get to that number, I think, is not nothing. And I think it matters when you're kind of trying to split hairs over certain guys. So, he definitely belongs in the top there because the numbers were that impressive. Obviously a very, very high home run total. The slugging percentage was terrific. But maybe you're not pleased by the on-base percentage or the walk rate, but everybody gets to determine things differently, and I think that the other non-hitting facets of his game were good enough to get him high on that list.
All right, so here's my question. Should they have let him pitch?
I think so. I mean,
couldn't have done worse than some.
I think he could probably throw at least 91, 93.
No idea where that's going.
Yeah, right. It's just all about making sure he can throw it straight. And hey, maybe Brian Bannister should teach him a little cut. See if he's a supinator or a pronator, and we'll get him some pitches. But if I had to give a little mock top 10, I'm not a voter. Ohtani 1, Semien 2. If you're determined between Semien and Seager, I mean, one of them played 162 games. I understand that Seager is rivaling Ohtani's slugging percentage, missed like 50 games, as Connor said, and had 6.1 WAR. But I think he's probably Semien is second most important. J-Rod third, Seager 4, because, again, he was insane in the games that he did play. Adley 5, Robert Jr. 6, Witt Jr. 7, J-Ram 8. Garrett Cole deserves some love at 9, and then Kyle Tucker at 10. And we can go into the pitching side and the Cy Young. Leader in WAR in the AL, Kevin Gausman, 5.3. Sonny Gray, 5.3. Garrett Cole, 5.2. Those are all the guys above 5. Zach Eflin, 4.8. Pablo Lopez, 4.5. Where do you guys go or look for ERA? Is it Cole?
Cole, yeah. It's Cole. Strikeouts, high innings pitched.
Only 2 over 200, Bassett and Cole, and Cole led the league.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy.
Yeah, it's really another slam dunk, and I think you got to look at this too. The contract. This guy's lived up to it, man. I mean, this guy got a monster. I mean, it was the biggest pitching contract ever from the Yankees, and he's making it look like he deserves every penny of it, because not only was he great that year before he got it in helping, in helping the Astros to the World Series, but he's a guy who's really delivered consistently on what they gave him. And usually you give a contract like that out, there is a good chance that even if you're good, it's up and down. It's you're not going to necessarily be the best pitcher in baseball to deserve the biggest pitching contract in baseball. He has been the best pitcher in baseball during that contract, and that's good on him for making it count.
Yeah, usually Jerry Reinsdorf can point to those contracts like, hey, that's why I don't do it. The Garrett Cole one's breaking the norm.
Yeah, right. He said, I won't sign a pitcher to a 10-year contract. The only guy to ever get close to 10 years is Garrett Cole. And, hey, he's pretty damn good.
Well, but here's the thing. All you need to do is look in that same Yankee rotation to figure out what the other side of that coin is, because Carlos Rodon signs that contract and barely pitches this year. And, again, that's not his fault. I'm sure if he was healthy, he would have tried to produce those numbers. But that's part of it. Best ability is availability, right, Herb?
Yeah, it is. And Carlos Rodon has been oft-hurt in his career.
Mm-hmm. You might want a drink. Do you have a drink handy?
Oh, wow.
I have water. Are you bringing up Benintendi for no reason?
No, I'm not bringing it up for no reason. But hey,
who should win the AL Cy Young? Not Andrew Benintendi.
Where was Benintendi before he was with the White Sox?
The Yankees.
The Yankees. And where was Rodon before he signed with the Giants? The White Sox need pitching. The Yankees would love to have someone get on base for Aaron Judge. Have the White Sox eat the rest of that contract. You give them $75 million going the other way.
That's twice as much money as they're paying Benintendi.
Yeah, but
I'm about to say there's
Carlos Rodon's a Cy Young Award winner.
Two things that are not going to happen. The Yankees like no, and Jerry Reinsdorf's like no. So both knows.
All right, whatever. Your loss. All right. Let's get into. And also too, no one has ever won two unanimous MVPs. Ohtani was unanimous in 2021, so that's definitely something to look out for. Rookie of the Year, is it Gunnar Henderson? I mean, these seem fairly easy awards to hand out this year, which isn't a bad thing. Just Gunnar Henderson was really damn good. 25-plus home runs.
Hey, you listed off all those guys that you thought deserved MVP consideration, and they did. They were fantastic. Just because Shohei Ohtani is Superman, baseball Jesus, as I like to call him, doesn't mean that all those other guys didn't have great MVP caliber seasons. So, playing in any other year, particularly 1992, apparently, they would have ran away with the thing. And if that's the case with the Cy Young and the Rookie of the Year, so be it. It's not a comment on the quality of candidates or the quality of players, but a comment on the quality of the guy who's the no-doubter at the top of the list.
Yeah, Gunnar, as I said, with the opposite of what Luis Robert's going through, Baltimore's playing in the most high-profile division, and they won 100-plus games. And he performed well, so he's definitely at the top of the list for AL Rookie of the Year.
I mean, Royce Lewis, I know KPW is mentioning Davis Schneider if he played more than 40 games.
But he didn't play in the playoffs, KPW.
Was he eligible? I don't know.
I don't know, but I didn't see him in the playoffs at all.
I know that story was really hot for a week, and then I think I heard it flamed out. I don't know much about Davis Schneider after the first week of September. But Royce Lewis, 58 games, had a weighted runs created plus of 155, had a 2.4 WAR. Gunnar was at 4.6. But I mean, if Royce Lewis got to 100 games, he probably wins Rookie of the Year. He was massively impressive and was great for them in the ALDS. And now the White Sox have the longest postseason drought in the American League
for winning a series.
Winning a series.
Winning a series. Winning a game also, right? The Twins, right?
I guess it'd be winning a game because the last time they won a game was...
Well, the last time they won a game was 2021.
Yeah. Oh. Then, I think it's
the last time they won a series is 05.
Yeah, winning a series. They have the longest drought.
Jesus.
So that's fun.
Because Seattle won the wild card last year.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, does it make you feel good, Herb?
How about the National
TGIF.
League?
Ooh. The Reds have the Reds won in a long time? When's the last time the Reds won a series? The 90s?
Eric Davis?
The 1990 World
1995.
Series?
Chris Sabo.
That's really a long time ago.
They won the
Rex
NLDS
Specs.
against the Dodgers in 1995, and then lost to the Braves in 95, then lost in 2010, 2012, 2013, and 2020.
Holy smokes.
Yikes.
AJ just throwing some salt in the wounds to KPW. Blue Jays haven't won a game since 17.
They've won series. All right, so that's basically it on the awards. The other one that we're monitoring his Gold Glove. But as you mentioned, it's J-Rod versus Luis Robert Jr., and we'll see how the coaches vote.
No love for manager of the year?
You have a manager, Brandon Hyde?
It's Hyde in a runaway, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Great talk.
I mean, Kevin Cash deserves it every year, basically. You know, he's
true.
He
All
gets
the
that team
injuries.
to win 100 games all the time.
But many are saying Brandon Hyde is the Shohei Ohtani of managers.
Many are saying that?
Many are saying that. Many of me. All right, let's take a break and we'll let you know about our friends over at Circa Sportsbook. There is going to be a huge week in college football and NFL betting. And when you are betting, make sure you are downloading Illinois' newest and largest sportsbook app. And you can have the largest sportsbook in America at your fingertips. Download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app. That's www.circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today and be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates. We got a tailgate coming up on the 15th, and I know our Circa friends have been doing some promos, signing up people when they walk in. So if you are at our tailgate, go check out the Circa tent and make sure you're signing up if you haven't already. But the best thing about Circa is if you need customer service, there are real people behind the Circa Sports brands who resolve issues in a timely fashion, unlike other books who use Chatbox, and all aspects of the app are being run by the same team that runs the main Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. It is a wonderful facility. They had us out in August, and you're able to see how it works. And when you're there, seeing all the TVs lit up with games, it is very enticing just to go down and place a bet, and they're always trying to get you the best lines possible so that when you're paying down or putting down money, you're getting the highest payout possible. So download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app. That's circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also be on the lookout again for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537, or text GMB 833-234, or visit areyoureallywinning.com. Also want to let you know about our friends over at Splash Sports. Again, NFL is coming up, and we have some contests for you over at Splash Sports. They have CHGO has weekly Pick-X and NFL Survivor contests for everyone to participate for real money. And to enter, go to splashsports.com/CHGO. The link is also in the description to sign up today. Deposit cash and get started, and it's just $10 to enter either. If you have signed up already and just want to enter, go to the link now. Again, keep that link handy because we'll be running contests all week. And if you want to run your own contest, if you're tired of being the commissioner on leagues, chasing people down with none of the reward, you can sign up to be a commissioner right now through our link and earn money for the contest you're already running with family and friends. So head to splashsports.com/CHGO to join in. We have different contests coming out, so we're so stoked to compete with and against you. Be sure to check out our link in the description or splashsports.com/CHGO. All right, so let's get into some Eloy and Andrew Vaughn talk, and then we'll get into the games. I know you guys are
Let the games
I know
begin.
you guys are like children. Just
Is this
waiting
going to be a
for-
regular Friday feature
Maybe
this offseason?
if it's good.
Yeah, we'll see.
If it's bad, no. If you guys hate it,
All right.
probably not.
I'm probably going to hate it because I'm bad at it. Yes.
You don't even know what it is.
You said it's. Go ahead.
All right.
It might be named the greatest days in Herb Lawrence's life.
There's only one.
I don't know. I don't have
You should know the one.
October 26,
2005.
2005.
Yeah.
Oh, man's got it.
Wow.
All right.
Look at me.
Look
Hey,
at
look at me.
Aren't you engaged? Aren't you engaged, Herb?
I am engaged. I'm not was engaged. I am.
Was.
But she knows. She knows. When we get married, that'll probably be a better day.
probably.
But when I was a kid, I never thought about getting married. When I was a 12-year-old kid, I was like, this team better win a World Series. When I was 26, it finally happened. About time.
Shout out Courtney.
I'll finally be like 45, 46 before I get married. Never as a kid did I think about getting married.
20 years later.
Yeah.
Here you are.
Here we are.
20. Did the 26-year-old ever think of it?
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
So there you go.
No.
I wasn't expecting you to say I was engaged.
I don't know. I was looking up that Jerome Walton because Connor had said the worst AL. He said AL rookie. Didn't look at it. And I was helping him out with the NL rookie of the year. The worst NL rookie of the year was Jerome Walton with 100 OPS.
Who do you play
plus. The Cubby.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was always a Dwight Smith guy. In
Also,
1989.
it was second, right? With a runner-up.
Yeah. Yeah.
At that time, I was kind of a pseudo-Cub fan.
I wasn't alive.
Yeah.
Was that 1983?
Because I had been to a Cub game. That's
That's
it.
89.
That was 89.
Yeah.
89. Okay.
Yeah, when they won the AL or NL East.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were in the East, Sox were in the West.
Take that, Mets.
Yeah. Take that, Mets. All right. Let's get into Andrew Vaughn and Eloy Jimenez. Maybe one of them will play for the Mets next year. Let's go to Eloy first, and I've been liking the swing take thing. Vinny likes the heart, shadow, chase, and waste thing.
You're not pronouncing it right. Heart, shadow, chase, and waste.
I thought we had to go waste. It's the metal version. This isn't as big as the other one. I guess it is. But if you are looking, what I want you to look at is on the right side. That's that swing take meter where you kind of see those purple bars going left and right. Yeah. And basically what this shows you, and you could see it on the far left side where it gets to the actual zones and the plus numbers. In the heart, Eloy was worth plus 8 runs. In the shadow, he was worth negative 17 runs. In the chase, he was worth plus 10 runs. And in the waste, he was worth plus 9 runs. But the biggest thing that it just seems with Eloy is just swinging less for him.
Yes.
The take percent on the heart, which isn't too bad. You want to be aggressive in the heart of the plate. He swings about 2% higher than the league average on the heart, but you look at the shadow, and that's where the thing really gets away from him. Again, those are the pitches on the edges of the plate. Those are balls that are easy to ground out into or make bad contact. Brian Bannister mentioned that our job as pitchers is to be an inch away from the barrel, right? And that's really what it always seems with Eloy. He's just an inch away from really making that contact and going off. And he just isn't selective enough, swinging over 60% of the time in the shadow, and MLB average is around 57%. And then to go to last year, because I kind of forgot his run last year.
Oh, yeah.
About 65 games last year, and shout out to Beefloaf because he reminded me of this. In those 65 games last year to end the year, 323 average, 391 on-base percentage, 558 slugging. That's an OPS of 948, 14 homers, 11 doubles. He was an absolute monster. And I'm just trying to, compare what he was doing then compared to now and why he struggled so much. So, again, the ones that I want to focus on are the heart and shadow. He was swinging around 75% in the heart of the plate in 2023 when he was having that 65% run. 76.5%. So again, extremely aggressive. And then in the shadow, and he was worth 11.2 run value then. This year he's worth about plus 8. And then in the shadow, negative 8.2 run value for Eloy. This year he was worth negative 17. So again, he was being more selective and swinging less. He was swinging about 59.3% of the time. This year around 63% of the time. So just to be kind of simple, they fire, they're hitting coaches and reportedly, and it seems like they're turning over that staff. It seems very easy just to look at these numbers and say, Eloy Jimenez, you got to swing less. But I think if it was that easy, they probably would have fixed it.
Yeah, I mean, well, and that's kind of, I've been kind of saying this for a couple of years now over multiple hitting coaches. Really, it's like these guys all want them to do the same thing.
Yeah,
it's about getting through to them to be able to get them to do it, or it's about them hitting so well, doing it their way that nobody really needs to tell them anything, right? And so the next guy that comes in, it'll be different, right? He's not going to be the exact same guy, but, he's going to want them to walk more. He's going to want them to do damage on balls in the zone. He's going to want them to elevate the ball. It's all kind of the same thing. It's just, can they find somebody who's going to get these messages through to them or tailor the messages to fit each individual guy's already existing approach? And so, listen, it doesn't take the baseball version of a rocket scientist to watch Eloy Jimenez this year and say, dude, hit the ball in the air. Hit the ball hard over the fence like you did a few years ago. Nice. Stop hitting ground balls all the time. Because I think it gets kind of lost in our expectations for him to be this 40-homer power monster guy, that he's a good just hitter. And, even when he was hitting ground balls, his batting average was higher than a lot of the guys on the team. He was having some success doing that, but obviously it's not what he was trying or anybody wanted him to do. So if he could find a way to mix those things together, maybe he doesn't have to go hit 50 home runs, even if he has the ability to do it. But he could, as Frank Menachino used to say, hit 300 and also hit a bunch of home runs. So, he's a hitter who, he was very happy to have played in the number of games that he played in this year. I believe it was a career high. but he still missed a lot of time. He was still affected by leg injuries that happened early in the season. I think, didn't he go on the IL in like the second week of the season with a hamstring?
And then I think in May he played like 7 straight games in the outfield, and they were like, "Oh, we got to rest him," and then he never played the outfield again.
Yeah. So I mean, again, it's physical for a lot of these guys. We heard Pedro tell me the other day how very, very important health is for this team. It's important for every team, but it's really important for this team because these guys have not shown us what they can do yet, and Eloy is one of those guys. I think the potential is there to be just a great hitter and a great power hitter, probably at the same time. But let's see it,
I don't know if you still have the numbers up from that second half last year, but the thing is, I looked at your chart from this year, and I saw that chase rate, like how much above league average he is on chase pitches than the regular team. And so that could go into how he's just hitting the ball with less authority, hitting the ball on the ground, because he's chasing at a clip that's much higher than league average. And so that he's probably not going to get to league average because he's a swinger. He's a free swinger. So I just need him to get it down 2-3 percentage points down from where he is right now, because that's way too unsustainable. He could be doing this same thing in 2024 that he's did in 2023 if he keeps on this path, learning what his power is, where the pitches are gonna be, where his weaknesses are, and where they're trying to exploit his weaknesses. And so laying off those pitches that that are high and inside, if he can't control those, or the sweepers that are going to the left-handed batter's box, those type of things. I need him to notice that it's getting more and more frequent because the pitchers see a pattern with him. That 2022 second half was a catalyst for him, and I said, okay, here we go. This is the next stepping stone for Eloy Jimenez. Health will bring him his 40 home run season, the elusive 40 home run season that he's never had before. He played a good portion of games this year, and maybe he was hurt for the majority of those games, nursing injuries, et cetera. But to play how many games he did and hit the few home runs that he did, I just can't have that. What did he hit, like 18 home runs?
It was under 20.
Yeah, just
18.
Not good.
I mean, but Herb, like, you watched him play all year.
Yeah.
You watched him run all year.
Yeah.
You know that his legs weren't feeling good.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And so the offseason has to be dedicated to squats, plyometrics, making sure soft tissue injuries heal themselves quicker, things like that, getting to wherever he lives, and that phone calls from Chris Getz, etc. Hey, man, you doing this, that, and the other, etc. Make sure you're doing it, because this is going to lead to a long, healthy season for you, which leads to a long, healthy home runs for you, and then also maybe some success for the White Sox. So
and he showed up to spring training in good shape.
Uh-huh.
He looked really good compared to the way he looked in years past.
Did he look different as the season went on though? He looked he looked like slim Eloy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it seemed like he did the work last offseason. But then, like I just said, second week of the season, he's going out with a hamstring or whatever that was. I think it was a hamstring, but I don't remember for sure. And then, he's got the freak thing with the appendectomy, and it's just even in a year
Came
where
back quick, yeah.
even in a year where he managed to play the games, and you can point to Moncada and TA. I think it was the same story. Even in a year when they managed to play games, or Benintendi certainly, they weren't really there.
April 5th, he was put on the IL this year. So what? I mean, that was like after the first
series,
like
or the home season. Yeah.
Can't even get started.
Yeah, played in the home opener and then left that game in that Monday, but then returned about 11 days later.
Didn't he go to the World Baseball Classic and barely play for the Dominican Republic?
Yeah, but they got knocked out.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that's an interruption of what
he was okay.
What
actually.
you're regularly doing with your spring training thing, and so it's kind of interrupted it. Didn't really play, and then he came back to the spring training. He was fine, but April 5th, going out and interrupting your season, and then I forgot all about the appendectomy. Goodness gracious. Maybe he's going to be better with that. No appendix, though. Full season with not an appendix.
Maybe.
It's been holding him back.
What were you asking, though, about the chase part?
Just in 2022, you brought up the heart and shadow of him and how much different it was from this year. I was wondering if the chase was a little bit closer to league average in 2022 in that 65-game sample we had last year.
So Jimenez in the chase section in 2023 swung 35% of the time. League average is 23%. In 2022, and I'll just use the same league percent, the league swing rate was 23%. During that 65-game stretch, 21.8%. So he was below league average.
There it is.
But funny enough, I mean, you just look at the actual runs gained. I mean, he was plus 10 runs in that chase. So even though he was about 13% over league average on swinging, he was still all right.
Effective.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, you look at
What
batter
about his
run
take rate there? Or take runs in the 2022 season for that same chase. It was
so 9.6.
Okay.
So he was worth plus 9.6 in those 65 games, 10 runs in all of 2023. So it probably would have been improved. So I mean, you're right that just swinging less in that zone would be helpful to him. And then, you look just at that zone in those 65 games in 2022, negative 0.7 run value on pitches he swung at. In 2023, negative 5.3. So, again, just he swung a ton more and was, basically hurt himself by 5 runs by swinging all that much in that zone. Eloy's a weird one, though, because, again, I kind of forgot about those 65 games, and it's about health. And even then, when he was healthy this year, we really didn't see that same guy. So I have a lot of questions about him. But when we look at the core, Roberts clearly fine. Moncada, it's really just, I mean, will we ever get a true healthy season? It's those two guys sandwiched in the middle, Eloy and Andrew Vaughn, that I really do think can make those next steps forward. Or we will really find out what they are in 2024. But let's go to Andrew Vaughn, because I remember you, Herb, sticking out to me in around August, being like, he changed his stance. And I did some research, and I don't know if he should have. Andrew Vaughn's swing take in 2023, the biggest thing that this tells, you look at heart and shadow, again, the main zones, because he was still worth positive runs in the chase and waste, chase +6, waste +7. You look at the heart, 0 runs. You look at the shadow, I believe that's negative 12. I just had my eyesight tested to get my license renewed. Yeah, negative 12. And the biggest thing, he's 4% under in swing rate compared to MLB average. He's not aggressive enough in the heart. And again, he's too passive in the shadow. I think there was a quote to James Fegan at some point, and he was like, I really got to get better at the edges. So, I mean, that's one thing that he just really isn't doing a great job at. You see him swinging more than the league average in the chase and shadow percent compared to the league average, and he swings less at the heart of the rate of the plate than the league average. So, I mean, he has a ton of room to be more aggressive at pitches down the middle, and I just don't know if those are on 0-0 counts, and we know that he's fairly passive in 0-0 counts. But then we saw him swinging more at the end of the year. So I'm not sure. This is a player that's always needed to walk more and really never has done that in his White Sox career. So we'll see what coaching can do.
The chart actually lends credence to the thing that I was always wondering. It's like, why does he swing at those balls that are over the strike zone? The chart tells you why, because the runs are there for him. He does well up there. I don't know why. I mean, they're out of the zone. He's a selective hitter. I mean, at least that was his MO coming into Major League Baseball. But I see those swings all the time. I'm like, ugh, come on, Andrew. You know that's way over your head. You're not going to do damage. But apparently, I was wrong. The anecdotal evidence is incorrect because he's crushing up there.
Yeah, well, he just lays off of them fairly enough. But I don't know what it's like when he actually swinging at those pitches. But let's go just to the final 2 graphics, and we'll take a break and we'll get into the game. Just because, again, I don't know how substantial this is to the swing change. But in the left, this is from July. You could see he's a little bit more straight, less closed off. And then we think that he changed it around August 4th. That's when Dane Dunning's on the mound. It seems like he's a little bit more closed. That front shoulder's a little bit more closed. That front foot's a little bit closer to home plate. And you can kind of see it maybe on the right side where they finally hit that home stand. He's going up against Brandon Woodruff and the Brewers. And his back's just a little bit more turned. You could see a little bit more of the Vaughn on his jersey. You could see a little bit more of the 5. And if you're looking at his feet, the front one is just a slightly more in front of the other one.
I'm with Law over here.
What are we
Law
talking
has
about?
got his face about 3 inches from his computer screen, trying to figure out it's like the little spot the difference in highlights magazine.
It's very. And that's why when Herb
highlights. Wow.
That's why when Herb brought it up to me, I was like, I don't think he did. And then I went through it, and I think he did.
I'm sorry, but the one
slightly.
on the left,
closed off.
the one on the left, he looks more closed off than any of these.
Yes,
Didn't you just say he's?
Yes.
That was before, and I think the middle one is where Sean looked at all the information and it was like you see his feet are kind of squared off, or like the same, and then it looks like he went back with.
Okay,
I think
he's closed
more,
off.
I think he's more up and closed off. I don't think he's less closed off, but I could be wrong. Again, you're the one who brought it up, Herb. So
I'm gonna when I talk to Andrew Vaughn, I'm gonna say, firstly, how tall are you? Secondly, I'm gonna say, hey, you change your swing.
and
I saw it.
Someone said you started using a lighter bat. I don't know. People say they can't see it. Someone says they can see it. Who knows? Again, the Connect grid is better, so we'll get to that. But the final thing, you just look at the final zone. You look at what he did after the quote-unquote stance change, if he did change his stance. There was a clear improvement on pitches inside. You could see on the right is after the stance change, and all of the zone, all the pitches inside are bright red, and you could just see that he really didn't have a true focus. So it seemed like maybe he was more focusing on inside pitches from August 4th to the end of the year, but I'm not sure. Let's take a quick break, and we'll let you know about some sponsors, and then we'll get into our game. I want to let you know about FOCO. Our friends over at FOCO have donated some lovely pieces for our set, so go show them some love at FOCO.com, FOCO.com, or click the link in the description below. Get fitted in the best sports gear around. They got hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. And since it's football season too, you can go get your checkered overalls right now. And we got the Bulls and Blackhawks seasons about to be underway. So go get geared up at FOCO.com, FOCO.com, or click the link in the description below. And for all non-presale items, use the promo code CHGO for 10% off. Also want to let you know about our friends over at Ray CDJR. Are you on the market for a new vehicle? If you are, then we have some great news for you. Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Fox Lake have just joined the CHGO team. At Ray CDJR, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest inventories and find unforgettable savings. And right now, during Ram Power Days at Ray CDJR only in Fox Lake, you'll be able to secure 0% financing or 17% off new Ram models. And that's not all. Through October 31st, you can explore their newly renovated showroom and take advantage of limited 7-year anniversary savings. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, then you have to check out our friends over at Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, because they're the only team we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com today, serving the community since 1963. Finally, we want to let you know about Fubo. If you are trying to watch any games this weekend, whether it be college or NFL, they have 140 live channels of sports, shows, movies, and news. You got the Tiger Bowl going up, LSU and Mizzou. You can watch that on Saturday. I think that's like CBS at 2:30.
I believe it's ESPN at 11.
Oh, okay. ESPN at 11.
I think.
The Tiger Bowl. you would know more than I would. You could stream live TV from any device and watch the most Chicago sports for the lowest price. And you can start watching immediately with a free trial over at FuboTV.com/CHGO. There's no contract, no cable, no hassle. Just sign up and start watching. And you can use 1,000 hours of cloud DVR to DVR The Golden Bachelor, included at no extra charge. So watch all your favorite college football, NFL, and The Golden Bachelor with Fubo. Go to www.FuboTV.com/CHGO. That's FuboTV.com/CHGO to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro.
Did you understand the highlights reference, Sean?
What highlights reference?
That Vinny brought up the highlights reference.
Like the magazine?
Yeah.
I don't know the ref. I didn't hear it.
Have you never been to the dentist?
I know what highlights are. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Goofus and Gallant. What he said, Goofus and Gillespie.
No, I just know. Like, if I saw a magazine called Highlights, I'd be like, oh yeah, I know what that is. I haven't breezed through a highlights magazine.
It always has the little thing like, oh, can you spot the difference in this cartoon versus this cartoon?
My near 7-year-old has a subscription to Highlights.
A subscription?
Wow.
Wow.
We get to do that stuff every month.
Wow, this is like the 30s, the 1930s. Wow.
Hey, we keep it old school
amazing.
around here.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, your 7-year-old's living the life.
She is.
All right. So I as most things, I stole this from a good friend, Jolly Olive, over at John Boy Media. He, I feel like, introduced people to the Immaculate Grid, and then a guy made a website and made money off of it. And a twist that he did off of the thing that he made, again, I think, the Immaculate Grid, is he made it Connect 4. So this is introducing Immaculate Connect.
Oh, boy, here we go.
So
God,
you basically have to get 4 in a row.
And there's no rarity score on this.
Down or across. I tried to get there to be a rarity score. I was going to give you each a steal, and if you could get a lower rarity score, you would get the steal. But I don't know how to figure that out.
But this is Connect 4 without it being Connect 4. Because if I do a Sox thing, it'll go to the bottom. But if I do a Sox twin thing, it'll stay at the top.
Right. There's no
Okay.
gravity. This
It's
is
more of a
this is
tic-tac-toe situation.
Yes.
This
no
is
gravity.
Yeah.
connect in space.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Wait, we're calling this Immaculate Connect?
yeah,
that what we're
Immaculate
calling it?
Connect.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
They'll
that's
get sued by both teams.
so. Let's go. Herb, heads or tails?
Tails. It never fails.
All right. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first because I know one.
All right, and you can go wherever you want. So just for the people that are listening on the podcast, it's a 4x4. The top is Sox MVP, Cy Young, and a 40-plus home run season. And then on the left side, it's Twins, Cubs, Pirates, Red Sox. So if you are going to make a guess or a suggestion, say the left team first and then the top category. So like Twins, White Sox.
Okay.
And clarification.
Yes.
Like Immaculate Grid, are there no repeats?
No repeats. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, right.
Okay.
So once a player's taken, you can't use them again.
Gotcha.
I'm going to go with, this is just a pure guess. Pirates, Cy Young, Doug Drabeck.
All right, Pirates and Cy Young. Herb is the red token, and Vinny is the blue one. You were saying Cy Young for the Pirates, Doug Drabeck?
Yes.
In 1990, Doug Drabeck was the Cy Young Award winner for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Red gets the square.
The White Sox had his son, too.
Or red gets the circle. Kyle?
Oh boy. Okay.
Kyle Drabeck.
Oh man. See, I get this and I like this, and I'm very, very concerned now about me blowing the strategy element of it of trying to block Herb from something.
Yeah. I mean,
You know you're smarter than me on these things.
All right. Let's go with Cubs MVP Sammy Sosa.
all right. Sammy Sosa was an MVP. That is correct. Congratulations, Vinny gets the
Thank you.
circle right there. He was MVP in 98. So if we're looking the first row up and down, no one's there. In the second row,
You're
Vinny's
confusing.
there.
Columns.
Yeah,
Say columns.
Okay.
There you go.
In the first column, there's no one there. In the second dot in the second column, Vinny's there.
gosh.
And then in the
This
third
is
dot,
clearly
in the
a
third
game made for
column,
radio.
A great listen.
Oh, and
Herb's there.
if we can not show the, I mean, we have it right now, not to show the comments because people
Oh, yeah, you're
will
fine.
definitely do some spoiling. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Pirates
Yes.
MVP, Mr. Barry Lamar Bonds.
And Barry Lamar Bonds is correct, and there's multiple years there. So Herb gets the Pirates MVP spot. So Vinny, you can't go vertically. You can't go up and down. You can go side to side because Herb kind of blocked you there.
Sure. Yes, I see what you're saying.
That's good because no one else can.
Right, but now don't I need to block Herb?
You can just go do your own thing.
Yeah, you can do whatever you,
You
want.
want me to go do my own
Yeah,
thing?
go do your own
I mean,
thing.
yeah, this is your strategy.
Barry Bonds won in 90 and 92.
By the way, any shout out for the graphic? I mean, that's
Yeah,
That's a great graphic.
Oh, that's awesome.
You
Sean
did a
started
great job.
Sean
editing it.
started it. I just sort of tweaked it and made
All
it
right.
better.
Again, the strategy thing is just freaking me out here. But I'm going to go ahead and go with Cubs, White Sox, Neil Kotz.
Correct. I know that one off the top of my head. It's my favorite White Sox and Cub. Neil Kotz. So,
And I know I'm not. I used him because I didn't want to have to repeat for Cy Young. I know Neil Kotz didn't win the Cy Young.
Yeah, he
Good
did.
call.
So Vinny's got Vinny's got two going east to west. Herb's
Yeah.
got two going east to
But
west.
yeah, but I feel like I just blew that now.
Yeah, I
Because
think
now
you did.
I'm just playing block the whole time, right?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Pirates Sox, and you think I'm going Vince Velo. I'm not.
I didn't think that.
I'm going Spanky Lavalier. Mike Lavalier.
Michael.
Wow, the catcher.
Yes.
I've got
Can
his
you guys
rookie card.
confirm that Mike Lavalier played?
I'm
not
100%
gonna
sure
try.
that Mike
I
Lavalier
actually-
played
I remember
for
him as
both
a
the White
Philly
Sox and the
myself.
Pirates.
He did. 93, 94, 95 with the Sox, and then a couple years from 84 to 93 with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So Herb is one away from connecting the Pirates grid. So
So therefore, I have to do Pirates 40 homer season, or Herb will then
Without
win.
Barry Lamar,
Yeah.
Lamar
Right,
Bonds.
and I can't say
Exactly.
Barry Bonds. Oh boy. So I have to guess, and if I don't get it, I will lose. I will say Pirates 40 homer season. Jason Bay. That's wrong.
that's wrong.
Oh,
Ralph Kiner did it.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
Herb has to get it.
Whoa. Hold on.
You're giving it away. Well, you can't use
I was-
Ralph Kiner.
I was going to use Ralph Kiner. Son of a bitch. I remember that 1956 season of Ralph Kiner. I don't know. I'm just going to guess
Didn't
here
do it in 56.
that it was Pop Stargell. hit 40
I would
home
have guessed Stargell myself.
So the good thing is that
Oh, no.
Barry Bonds did not hit 40 home runs with the Pirates.
Right.
And there were two players who hit 40 home runs with the Pirates.
And neither of them are Jason Bay or Willie Stargell.
Ralph Kiner.
No.
In 1971 and 1973, Willie Stargell.
Oh, so
So
Herb wins.
he is right.
Herb
wins.
wins.
I was
Herb is
okay.
I was
Top
building
Stargell.
up the suspense.
Gotcha.
And I almost made a horrible error by giving away Ralph Kiner.
I was
but
gonna-
Herb got the only other
I
answer.
would not have
Okay.
gotten.
Well, so here's
First
the
time I've won.
So congrats,
Hey.
Herb. First of all, congrats. Second of all, let's go back in time
Yeah.
to when he had 2 and I had 1. Maybe I just have. I'm not a Connect 4 star or
Yeah.
something, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. What should I have? Where should I have gone?
You should have
should've
gone
taken Pirates Sox.
Pirates one. Yeah, Pirates Sox. I thought you were going there. And
I
saying
should have
Vince
gone
Velo.
Pirates Sox.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
you
Sure.
should have said, like I would have been like, Vinny, what's your guess? You would have said Pirates, Sox, Ivan Nova.
I would have said Yvonne Champagne Supernova. I would have said Craig Wilson.
Right. Miguel Olivo, I think,
Good at
too.
the Immaculate Grid. Greg Wilson. Who the hell remembers him?
So basically what you're saying is I should play tic-tac-toe versus you because you don't understand very simple
Well,
strategy.
let's hold on though. This is 4x4.
Yeah,
I feel
oh,
like
it sure
3x3 tic tac toe, regular tic tac toe.
Okay.
I've mastered. I have not mastered tic tac toe and then whatever's after it.
Dough.
Tic tac toe. No, you're thinking of tic tac dough.
Oh yeah.
Great show.
Great show.
I love that show.
Great show.
All right, that's
Like
gonna.
Peter Tamarkin, I think, was the host of that one.
We gotta.
Rest in peace.
Are we gonna? Can we at least polish off the Sox column here?
Yeah.
Because this is
Yeah,
a
sure,
Sox
go
theme
ahead.
thing here.
Yeah.
What do we have? What are the
Sox
teams?
Twins, Sox MVP, Sox Cy Young, Sox 40 homers.
Well, they're okay. No,
Right?
I was just saying Sox Twins and Sox.
Oh,
Sox
I
here.
got you. No, you're right. I was reading it wrong.
All right, we'll each give one, and Sean gets to
It's
be
your
the
turn.
judge. Sean gets to be the judge of who has the better between the two.
Yeah,
All
that's
right. So
fair.
think of a sock twin. I'm going to think of a sock twin.
Yeah.
And Sean gets to be the judge. You ready?
All right.
All right. Sox twins. Francisco Liriano.
Okay. I'm just going to go with Justin Morneau.
All right, well, Liriano wins.
Yeah, because I'm bad at that.
And then-
Liriano's cooler.
And then we got Sox Bo Sox. All right. Think of one. I'll go first. You ready? Bob Howry.
Nice.
Now let's go with Keith Falk.
Oh,
Ooh. Okay, well,
I'm giving that to Herb. Come on.
yeah, Keith
Volk?
Folk's cooler.
Well, he's just better.
Yeah,
but that.
Keith Folk's cooler.
But I had a better pull.
I guess, but like, Keith Folk speaks to me more.
Wow.
And Keith Folk, I mean, like, I was expecting
Yeah.
someone to say Orlando Cabrera.
Yeah. That
Oh,
would have been a
no.
good one.
Manny Ramirez.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
I
my
like
God. I forgot about
I
Manny
like-
Ramirez of the White Sox.
Jake Peavy. I like Keith Folk
Chris
a little
Sale?
bit better. Yeah, Chris Sale too.
That jerk.
I guess so.
Yohan Moncada would
Yohan
count
Moncada
too.
would have counted.
So
would've.
I'm gonna go Bob Lowry. So you guys are 1 and
Bob
1.
Howry.
Bob Howry.
Bob
No,
Lowry
I'm
would've
gonna go
been
with
good,
Keith
too.
Folk over Bob.
Bob
Lowry.
Lowry. Bob Lowry, even though it's Mike Lowry.
All right, well, that's gonna do it. You guys good?
Yeah.
All right, let's
I
go
would
do
have
it
went
for.
Blackjack McDowell on Cy Young for White Sox.
And if
Yeah.
anyone said Todd Frazier, they would have won for 40 homers.
That's true. They would have.
Last one. All right, that's going to do it for. Too bad Luis Robert couldn't hit 40 because still that's still.
Too bad he
stands.
couldn't lead the league because I had the futures bet on him.
That's
Do it
missed
again.
by a little bit.
Do it again.
That's Vinnie Duber. You can follow him at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. He's got a brand new article up at allchgo.com. Go check that out. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him at Actonwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. And I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me at Sean_W_Anderson. Our graphics czar is Lawrence Benedetto, and thank you for producing the show.
Oh,
hit the like
okay.
and hit the like and subscribe button on your way out. We will talk to you next week at Monday at 3:30 p.m. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.